The Ballon d'Or is the most coveted individual award in football. But have you ever asked yourself, what was the history behind its creation? Well, you will know everything about it if you watch this video. We are in 1956 in Paris, the city of light, and four journalists from the editorial staff of France Football magazine are reflecting on how to benefit the magazine they work for. France Football magazine had been created a decade earlier, back in 1946, and was a local French magazine that was far from having the huge impact its journalists were striving for. So they started searching for ideas to enable their newspaper to make a name for itself. As they were still searching, the four journalists and colleagues, Jacques Ferrand, Gabriel Hanot, Jacques Godet and Jacques de Rijswijk, had a brilliant idea. Why not create a trophy to award the best European player of the year, they thought. Then and there, the Ballon d'Or was born. Since the creation of this trophy, a ceremony is organized every year in Paris at the Théâtre du Châtelet for its presentation. To win the Ballon d'Or, you had to be the best player of the year, regardless of your position, because players of all positions can win this trophy, from forwards to midfielders and from defenders to goalkeepers. The first player in history to receive a Ballon d'Or was the famous English footballer Stanley Matthews, and he was the first of a long series. In total, 44 footballers have won the Ballon d'Or, including 30 forwards, 11 midfielders, 2 defenders and 1 goalkeeper. But at the very beginning of its history, the Ballon d'Or was a very restricted trophy. It was only awarded to European players, excluding others from any debate, and it took years for this to change. When it was created in 1956, the Ballon d'Or was an award that only concerned football players of European nationalities playing in a European championship. By the way, the Ballon d'Or France Football was also known abroad as the trophy for the European Footballer of the Year. And it is due to this specificity in its awarding that legends like Pelé and Diego Maradona never won it. It is only in 1995, nearly 40 years after its creation, that the awarding rules of the Ballon d'Or were made more flexible. The prestigious award could then be awarded to any footballer playing in the European Championship without distinction of nationality. It was on that occasion that the Ballon d'Or was awarded for the first time to a non-European player, the Liberian George Weah, who was a PSG player at the time. To this day, George Weah remained the only African footballer to hold that title. But it wasn't until 2007 that the Ballon d'Or could be awarded to any player, regardless of championship. But on what rules is the awarding of this reward based? From 1956 to 2009, the winner of the Ballon d'Or was selected by international journalists only. They had an absolute monopoly on the vote. However, things changed starting from 2010. That year, the France Football's Ballon d'Or merged with the FIFA Best Footballer of the Year title and became the FIFA Ballon d'Or. This merger globalized the title and generated a reform in the awarding parameters of the Golden Trophy. At that moment, the head coaches and captains of the major teams were included in the vote in addition to the journalists, and the weight of the votes was shared equally between the three professions. Therefore, 208 head coaches and 208 team captains of the national selections and member countries of FIFA became voters, in addition to the 208 journalists representing the countries making up FIFA, and only voters belonging to the top 100 nations in the FIFA ranking can take part in the vote. The voting process is done as follows. The voters select 23 players that they nominate for the title, then they choose 3 players that they believe stood out among the 23 nominees, and each voters make their own top 3 and award 1 point to their third player, 3 points to their second player, and 5 points to their first player and winner. Then the points are counted, and the player with the most points is designated the winner. Since 2015, by the way, the list of 23 nominated players has been expanded to 30 players. This year, in 2024, France Football has exceptionally decided to entrust the vote to an elite of 100 true football experts, all belonging to the top 100 nations in the FIFA ranking, of course. This is due to the fact that FIFA is not France Football's partner anymore for the Ballon d'Or's organization and awarding. On top of that, 3 new voting criteria have emerged and have been added and are as follows. Firstly, the player named as Ballon d'Or must have achieved decisive and impressive individual performances. Secondly, the player named as Ballon d'Or must have made good collective performances and accumulated a certain track records during his season. And who says track record says trophies won. And finally, the player named as Ballon d'Or must have class and a great sense of fair play. Each year, the winner of the Ballon d'Or is more than happy to walk out with a trophy in hand, but he will not be the only one to hold an award at the ceremony. Back in the days, the Ballon d'Or ceremony was only held to award this one and only prize to its winner. But the ceremony as we know it today has evolved a lot, because many other prizes are now awarded. In 2018, 2 new trophies were created and awarded at the ceremony, in addition to the Ballon d'Or. First, the trophy of the Women's Ballon d'Or was created and awarded to the Norwegian Ada Egerberg. Since then, women playing football can also receive a Ballon d'Or. And secondly, the Copa Trophy was created to reward the best young player of the year, and it was the Frenchman Kylian Mbappé who won it due to his incredible performance at the World Cup in Russia. The following year, in 2019, the Yashin Trophy was created, and its name is a tribute to Lev Yashin, the only goalkeeper in history to have won the Ballon d'Or. This trophy was created to reward the best goalkeeper of the year and was awarded to the Brazilian Alisson that year. 2 years later, in 2021, the Gerd Müller Trophy was created, named after the famous German striker, one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. This trophy was created to reward the top scorer of the year at a club and national team levels. And it was awarded to the Polish Robert Lewandowski that year, author of 57 goals in 56 matches in all competitions for the 2021-2022 season. Then the Socrates Trophy was equally created and added to the others in 2022 in tribute to the Brazilian footballer of the same name, a graduate of medical school that was involved in important social and political causes. This trophy highlights the social commitment of a professional footballer, and it had been awarded to the Senegalese Sadio Mane that year. The Club of the Year trophy was also introduced the same year, awarding Manchester City. And finally, this year in 2024, the Johan Cruyff Trophy was created, named after the late Ballon d'Or winner, player and coach Cruyff. This trophy rewards the best football coaches of the year and has been awarded to the Italian Carlo Ancelotti for men's football and the English Emma Hayes for women's football. Now let me answer an interesting question you may probably be asking yourself. Is the Ballon d'Or entirely made of gold? The answer is no. In reality, the Ballon d'Or is made of two brass demi-spheres that contain a steel whose composition has remained secret since its creation. Once the two demi-spheres are glued together, they are then covered in gold, and the trophy's conception is complete. The Ballon d'Or trophy is designed in Paris by the French jeweler Mellerio and has an estimated value of 13,000 euros. It takes 6 months and 100 hours of work to make the golden trophy. As of today, the Ballon d'Or trophy continues to fascinate many, even if we are clearly at a turning point in the history of its awarding. In all, 67 Ballon d'Ors have been awarded since the trophy was created, and many great players have been named winner, including the Frenchman Zinedine Zidane or the Brazilian Rivaldo, but the most iconic winners remain the Portuguese Cristiano Ronaldo and the Argentinian Lionel Messi. They have the most Ballon d'Ors with respectively 5 and 8. After monopolizing the Ballon d'Or for at least 2 decades, for the first time in history, neither Ronaldo nor Messi were nominated this year. It is therefore time to make a way for the new generation. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Stay safe and I see you next time.